Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are doing reading sprints for Tor.com-a-thon, which is very exciting. Day 2 of the readathon, and if you missed it, there is a whole schedule of reading sprints throughout the month that went up on my Instagram and also on the community tab on YouTube. So hello. Well, feel free to say hi in the comments. Sometimes it takes a while for them to pop up over here, but and thank you to Kara and Michelle for joining me. I'm going to add you guys actually to the video description if you want to introduce yourselves, and everyone should go check you out.
Michelle, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Hi, I'm Michelle from Throw Once Another Letter. I read romance, indigenous literature, pretty much like contemporary YA, and I like to bullet journal as well. That's all I got.
Short and sweet. I like it.
I love it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kara. My channel is Wild Book Garden. I read pretty much everything that's like something I really enjoy and that's really important to me. I think it's important and fun to read widely, but a lot of like fantasy, historical fiction, nonfiction, and contemporary probably are my most read right now. Yeah, also I knit. I have started incorporating that into my content, and I'm going to be hanging out and doing this while we chat.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, so go check them out. I just added their channels to the video description. Hi, Beth. Hi, Kerber. Welcome. How is the month going so far for everyone, and what is everybody going to be reading? Feel free to put it in the comments as well. But I guess I'll go. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to read actually for sprints today. I've got a couple of options. I could start an ebook. I've got an e-arc of The Lies of the Ajungo by Moses Osei Utomi. It's like a fantasy novella, African-inspired fantasy novella. Or I could read some more of The Terraformers by Annalee Newitz, which is really good, but I had to like put it down to read other things, and I want to get back to it. So
Yeah, my reading month off to a very good start. I reading The Spare Man, which Bethany actually recommended. So I'm like 70 pages into that. It's super fun, like space mystery, also strong romance element, and I love the main character's lawyer. She just like crochets aggressively into the video camera. Yeah. I love that as a power move. And then I also just started Along the Saltway Sea by A. Deborah Baker. So I probably will be switching back and forth between those. And as I said, I will also be knitting as we hang out. And I have to brag because I made this sweater. And it's the first sweater I've ever done. And I am like very proud of myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. I'm like so really happy because like I've been knitting for a long time and I was never brave enough to make a sweater. And now I have. So I've been like working that into every conversation because I'm like,
no, you should. That's so impressive. I love that. That's amazing. Michelle, how about you?
I haven't started anything. I haven't read anything at all. But I'm making a journal for somebody. It's the first time ever doing that. I'm like,
that's
no
so
pressure.
Cool.
Everything's fine.
It's gonna be awesome. You do.
But I am reading
art.
The Hunger Games for the first time.
Oh, currently. You've never read it before?
Nope. First time. And only seen like half of the movie.
Oh wow. I'm so curious to see what you think. Like having because that's I feel like really unusual. That's cool. Are you making a video? You should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna make a reading vlog about it.
Nice. Hey, that's exciting. Okay, we have a lot of comments. Hi Heather. Hi Jamie. Yes, for knitting, the perfect hobby combo is audiobooks and knitting. Yeah, I love that. Yay! Beth is almost done with Mimicking of Known Successes and loving it. It's really good. That's awesome. Hello. Hi, Vicky. Oh, starting the group book. Awesome. Yeah, at some point I'll do a reread of it. I guess it's over there somewhere, but I think it'll be a fun one. Which, yeah. Hello. Age of Vice and Lone Women. Oh, Lone Women is fantastic. I did that as a buddy read in February with Mara and Angela and Jocelyn. It's really good. And it's one of the book of the month picks for February. Terraformers is on your TBR. Nice. It's really, so far I really like it. The world building is really interesting. Hello. Reading The Last Witness by KJ Parker. We've got all kinds of stuff. I love it. Started Vicious and Strange and Stubborn Endurance. Enjoying both. Okay. Yeah. Glad you skimmed and skipped chapter 2. I'm like, there's I'm glad I could be part of warning people what to expect from chapter 2 of that book. Because I did not know when I picked up the arc. There's like a very graphic sexual assault scene in chapter 2. And it's pitched as like a political fantasy romance, and I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
So I ended up DNFing it, but thankfully they did add a content warning to the finished book, and
oh, good.
So, yeah. At work right now. Yes, the sweater. Love for the sweater.
Thank you, guys.
Reading Mask of Mirrors, though, my DNF. Okay, I feel like that's like a hit for some people, but not everyone. You should try a sweater, Beth.
There's patterns that are like designed for like you have never done a sweater and you're stressed even thinking about it, and they like link to video tutorials, and like that's how I went about it. It was nice.
That's smart. Only on page 125. Don't feel bad about DNFing before 30%. If it's not working for you, it's not working for you. That's okay. I just DNF'd a book at 10% because I hated the writing so much. So, yeah. Hi, Angela. Oh, I'm sorry you're homesick. But 3 novellas yesterday. That's great. Hope you feel better. Doing a read for middle grade March. Nevermore: The Trials of Morgan Crow. Nice. It's a good one. Can't decide between The Spite House or A Marvelous Light, so doing Try a Chapter. That sounds like a great option. Reading Camouflage by Joe Haldeman. Okay, I know nothing about that one, but cool. And A Girl Called Samson by Amy Harmon. Everybody's got lots of different books they're picking up. That's great. Before we went live, we were talking about like anxiety and stuff because I had a very high anxiety month in February, and so I just listened to like a ton of romance audiobooks. So my wrap up tomorrow is like an hour long.
I mean, like an hour for like 30 to 40 books is kind of amazing though. Like,
well, no, but I did a mid-month wrap up too.
Okay, but still.
So yeah, I guess so. It was like a lot of books. I don't want to read that many books. It was too much.
I could only dream to read that many books in 1 month.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that many books in a month isn't good for me though. Like it's not, I don't know. It's one of those things that I think sounds nice, but it's not actually ideal. But yeah, I will say one of the highlights, like the book that like at the worst height of it that really, really helped me out. If you like super steamy, campy, silly, and sweet books, The Half-Orc's Maiden Bride by Ruby Dixon was like perfect.
Michelle does it.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out.
Michelle, that was a whole journey on your face. Like,
yeah.
Listen, I liked Ice. I'm one of the rare people that likes Ice Planet Barbarian. So I'm like, you know what? We'll just go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one is like more of a fantasy romance one, and it's also out there, but it's I like it much better than it. It's got a cinnamon roll, half orc hero who looks like big and scary, but he's actually like super sweet. It's
Aw.
great.
I'm all for that. That
Mhm.
sounds great.
It was delightful. Yeah.
I like a good cozy fantasy.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what you need. Okay, we saw this. Hi, Bronwyn. Might listen to the group book for sprints. Nice. I love that. Hey, Brianna. Yeah. Brianna did the first sprints of the month yesterday. So we've got lots of them coming up. Let's see. Hey, Bree. How are you? How are you doing? Welcome. I love like people just like pop into the sprints whenever I do them. That's cool. Oh. Somebody just okay, sorry. Someone's like messaging me. I'm like, what is that? Okay. Hey, Jessica. Do we want to do a sprint? Do we want to like chat about anything specific? Hey, working this afternoon, but might listen to Finley Donovan today. Nice.
That's cool.
I'm good to start a sprint, or we can keep hanging out. I have no helpful answer.
I am.
You're
good
welcome.
For all things.
I'm like I have tried to like get most things done that I need to do because today is like the last day I'll have to really get much of anything done until Monday probably. So
This is nice because yesterday the Soren stayed home from school because they had a like they had a snow day, but like in the morning it looked like it was going to blizzard and it snowed for a little bit. Like there were actually like drifts in the yard. The way that I was so mad because Calvin was like, well, could you like do a little bit? Like you don't have to do the whole thing. I just need like a little bit of help. And I was like, I don't want to. I just want to be a pretty little princess and like not shovel anything. I don't want to go outside and like ew, right? No, I got all my stuff on and like put plastic bags over my feet because I have a hole in my boot, and I went out there and I did like half the yard. The maintenance guy from over at the apartment building next to us came in my yard, just plowed the whole thing, and then left. And I was like, you did all this in 4 minutes, what took me an hour.
wow.
I was like, thank you, but also I'm angry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Man was just watching me struggle and then was like, oh, here you go.
Here, let me just help you out there. Oh man.
Wow.
Wow. Next time you should just be like, hey, can you help with this? Yeah. Dang. Bree says, Michelle, I think we live near each other. That snow yesterday was rough.
Are you in Minnesota? Because I'm in South Dakota.
Mm.
It's like that scene from it's like that scene from Holes where she's like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa, and he's like, that's too damn bad. Keep digging. That's what it's like living in the Midwest.
Michelle reenacting the Holes movie. Oh my god.
Oh wow. Yeah. We haven't really gotten much snow here. We got a little bit, but then it warmed up and rained, so it was just slush.
Yeah. It's been like wild. Like LA got snow. LA had a blizzard warning and they got snow. I'm like, we are not
happening.
Yeah. Little bit of the apocalypse. It's
warming.
Fine. Yeah, no kidding. Bree says yes, Minnesota.
Yeah, that's rough.
Ugh. Huge snow dump yesterday in the Yukon. Partner cleared all the walks, but I dug out the car. Oh,
I
gosh.
saw that. One of my friends lives in Alaska, and I was like, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's a lot. Wow. Yeah, we've had like a unusually, well, I don't know, like kind of mild winter here, but I feel like other places have been different.
The kids have had, so far this year, between when winter started and now, like, there was one week where there was no school at all in December. Like, there was one week where there was just no school at all for 1 week. And then there was like two or three snow days a couple weeks ago, and then a few days ago, and then yesterday.
Wow.
So I'm like, when is school ending? Like June?
Yeah.
Seriously. Well, I feel like here, and maybe it's because we're in the city, so they clear roads and stuff. Like, it has to be really bad to get a snow day.
Right.
Like unless it is literally a blizzard, like you're going to school.
Yeah. Unless you are in danger of being blown into the sky.
Yeah, like. Oh man, yeah. Ton of heavy rain in the Bay Area.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Like I don't live in the Bay
Wow.
Area, but like
Okay.
there are huge chunks of California that are just getting drenched, which I mean on the one hand is great. We desperately need the rain.
Yeah.
But it's just weird. Like there were a couple of weeks recently where we had like flood warnings almost like every day, and they were basically like, do not leave your house if you don't have to. So it's been
Dang.
wild.
Wow. That's intense. Yay! Jessica read a tour book yesterday, 7 left to go. Love that. I did start an audiobook. I started my like 1900s book prompt, which is Primary Inversion by Catherine Asaro, which has been fun so far. Also, I know people want a rec video. I have filmed it. I need to edit it, and it will be going up early next week. So if you're waiting for me to put up a recommendation video for tour books from the 80s and 90s, it is coming.
My library has a lot of those.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Good. The only 1900s one that I have is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, which is like 700 pages.
It is.
So
It's a really long one. It's on my recommendation list, although I'm like, but it's a really long option.
I mean,
if you just want to read one book this month, then that's the one.
Maybe I'll read like novellas and that behemoth, which like 700 pages is not like the longest fantasy book, but I feel like it's known for being like kind of dense to get through.
It's very dense and slow. Yeah. So I will say, what is it? I mean, I don't know if y'all are Audible members, but there was one book on my list that is part of the Audible Plus catalog. Maybe a couple of them that were on the Audible Plus catalog. Like, where is it? Do I have that list somewhere? I thought I did. Oh, here. Did I not write it down? Of course I didn't. Like, I have the books written down, but I didn't write down which one. Oh, I think I know. Let me double check, though. Let's see. I actually might read it because it's free for me anyway. Oh, yeah. Shards of Honor by Lois McMaster Bujold. It's like, it's yeah, I think it's like a sci-fi book but it's on there. And I also think that some of Ursula K. Le Guin's early books at least used to be part of it. I don't know if they still are. So,
I forgot to check. Maybe.
Yes, Bronwyn, you can count Robert Jordan. Any of the books that came out in like the 90s, you can count. So.
Okay,
please
what was...
Have Martha Wells' debut, Elements of Fire. Nice. Yeah, I don't think most of those were from Tor, but I think that's great. Unless this is one of the ones they're re-releasing, because I think you could make that count. Yeah. Hey, Bree, thank you. This is like years old from Target. I got it several years ago from Target. So I don't know if they still have it, but it's lasted pretty well. It has like slowly gotten more see-through, but it's very comfortable. So
I know it's hard to give those up. Like, Bethany, you just reminded me when you were talking about Ursula K. Le Guin that I actually bought a copy of The Left Hand of Darkness for the book club, and I just wasn't able to get to it. So maybe I can read that one, which is a much more reasonable length. We'll see.
Is true. Is that one? I'm not sure if that one is Tor. Is the only problem.
Maybe that's why
because that's the problem is like some of her books have been published by Tor and some of them haven't. But there's like a bind up of her first of like the first 3 Hamish cycle books that was published by Tor.
Okay.
Which was like this is the weird thing with like imprints and stuff. Let me see if I can find. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, so like Rocannon's World was her first ever novel, which is part of that bind up. And it's very short, and it is part of the Audible Plus catalog too. So, okay. 2000. I think you can count. I'm saying you can count 2000. I mostly say this because I have one book in my recommendation video that came out in 2000. It's close enough. It's fine. A really good horror book that's ghostly but not gory. Anybody have any suggestions for that?
White Horse.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read that one.
That doesn't have good gore in it. Really?
Yeah, not really. No. It's like spooky, but not like.
Yeah, it scared the crap out of me.
I mean, I don't read much horror. When I do, it's usually like middle grade creepy. But I mean, I will recommend Mexican Gothic to like everybody in the world. That one's like a little bit of body horror, but I usually don't like that, and I was okay. Like, it's not gory, but it is kind of gross, like adjacent to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm thinking of other parts of that book. Maybe not. Maybe not.
It's a little more on the gruesome side. I don't know.
I think I tend to think of it as not because I like loved it, and I usually can't handle that stuff. So it's like affected my perception of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have my horror books in front of me, which makes it challenging. I have to think about that.
If you are open to middle grade horror, I really loved the Small Spaces series by Catherine Arden.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that's genuinely creepy, like even for adults.
I read the first one. I need to keep going with them because I have them. But
yeah, they're really good. And I'm trying to think of other. Oh, House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig.
Yeah.
That one's like a creepy fantasy. Like there's definitely horror elements, but it's not gory. There's like one scene that's like descriptive, but it's more like spooky gross. I don't know how you describe it, but I feel like that one's really cool. It's like a spooky 12 Dancing Princesses retelling where like the sisters are just like dead.
It's really good. It's not super gory. Ghosts. See, like every time I think of a ghost, I'm like, yeah, but that's gory also. Right. So I'm trying to think of like a haunted house book that's not gory. Yeah. Somebody is suggesting Darcy Coates. I read one of her books and it was pretty good and not super gory. That might be a good suggestion. Audible Plus, yes, thank you. Has the 3 audiobooks in a Tor Essentials bind up. Most of her other books are Harper. Yeah. Lots of Del Rey, Bay and Pocket. Yeah. Bree is currently reading White Horse. Love it.
Yes.
Yay. Thank goodness. My Chucky book from nothing. Delicious Monsters is excellent, but it is gory. It has some intense body horror, so I would not suggest that book for that request. It's great. I loved it, but
Body horror can be a lot for some people.
Yeah, it goes pretty hard with the body horror, especially for YA. I don't think people typically like my horror recommendations. Oh no. I think you have some great recommendations. The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates, yes. Novella horror Hellmouth by Giles K is good medieval horror. Okay, cool. Love it. Yeah, there is a lot of Orson Scott Card. That is true. I am mentioning one of his books in my video with a disclaimer. But also it's hard because honestly, I would say a lot of the SFF books from the 80s and 90s
I was gonna say,
have it too. Like it's hard. There are exceptions, but I think like it's hard to find something that doesn't have something that doesn't hold up well.
I read the first Dragon Riders of Pern book like a couple years ago and was horrified. It's just something that if it were written today, it would be very obvious to everyone that like this is actually sexual assault, and like it was not framed that way in the book, and it was just like it sucked because the other parts of the book I really liked, but it's like I don't know if I would want to like keep reading the series if I don't know if I know that that's probably not going to be handled super well.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of just put like if it's an older book, I'm usually not so bothered. I understand why people would be, but I'm less bothered by it in older books because I kind of go in expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do think it's just...
I think it was like partly that I not that I was like expecting a certain amount of it, but I was surprised at how like obvious it seemed. Like nobody told her that when this thing happened, she was going to be having sex with this other person. Like everyone else knew that and never told her, and then it just like happened and she like didn't have a choice about it. And I'm like, I feel like even in like the 90s or the 80s that would have been like but
yeah,
obviously not.
I mean, maybe that was supposed to be like the subtext, but I just think we weren't talking about things in the same way then. And I don't know. Hello. Love the Dragon Riders.
I liked a lot of things about it. I might try other books from her.
How do you define what horror or fear is? Like if you have to explain what do you feel when you're
kind of like you like I don't know. I like depending on what the scary thing is. Like it feels like your body feels all of a sudden very light and very heavy at the same time, and like you can't breathe, and like there's like usually sometimes your body reacts in the way that like you shiver or you like you clench up a little bit.
That's interesting. I wonder if people probably have like different physical reactions to it, because I'll get like, I don't know, pressure in my chest and my heart will race and I'll like feel tight in my stomach if I'm scared.
Yeah, like one of the reasons I don't read a lot of horror is it feels way too similar to like an anxiety attack for me. It's I spend most of my life avoiding feeling this way.
Yeah, that's fair. I think for me it depends on the horror, because I don't think that I have to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a weird thing. I have actually found that exposing myself to more horror has helped my anxiety, because it's helped me get past a lot of fear of horror that I used to have. And I think this is maybe personal to me, but like I had a lot of like religious adjacent fear tied up in my thoughts about the horror genre.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was more than just like, oh, what's happening in this thing is scary, but also like this thing is also actively demonic and going to harm you kind of scary. And so like exposing myself to things and being like, oh, okay, I see, like, or watching movies where I can deconstruct like what they're doing from a film perspective to make it less scary for myself, like that I find cathartic. I don't know, but I don't know that that's what everybody wants from horror, or that that's what everybody does with it, but I don't know.
When I watch horror, I want to be actually scared. So sometimes when I like I'll just watch something because it's like a comfort thing. Like The Shining is a comfort movie.
Or I've never seen it, but maybe one day.
I love it. Like it is for me, like, I don't know, when I watch that movie, it's so creepy, and there's so many things that are packed in it. If you ever look that up on YouTube, like there's so many theories about it, and like all of the things that, you know, like down to what sweater the little kid is wearing, or like so many things are all packed into that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my, I guess, like kind of comfort watches, it's very cathartic, is Gaslight, with like Ingrid Bergman, because like I find it just very reassuring the way everything, like, I don't know, the resolution I think is like really satisfying and just, again, very cathartic. So I can see that. I can see that there's like, yeah, it's weird to be like, this makes me feel better, but it's like I think it's because there's like the acknowledgement of how scary these things are.
Yeah.
And then the way that they're dealt with, I really like. But yeah.
TikTok has a really good way of making me feel scared though. Like there's this one trend. It's this sound bite that's like, if you see someone that looks exactly like you, run away and hide. And it's like this filter where like people make themselves look creepy. And I'm just like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. And it's always when it's like dark outside and I don't have my curtain up. And that's like the most, like, I usually don't have my curtain up because like I'm just looking at like the meters or whatever. Like nobody can see inside my window. But then I'm like, nope, we're gonna put the curtain up. That's weird. But TikTok, it will just come out in the middle of nowhere. Just, oh, here's a scary random video at like 9.
Oh geez. Thank you, Bree, our local booktube therapist. Exposure therapy is a real thing. Thank you. Favorite type of horror is psychological. Nice. Oh, yeah. Amin al-Sarafi is great. Glad you're enjoying that. Nicole has a freeze response when it comes to fear. Interesting. Yeah, I think people respond differently to things, which is interesting. It's a comfort movement. Okay, yeah. Knowing that horror represents anxiety in society, that helps a bit when consuming it. Yeah, I think that's what helps me too, is like deconstructing the themes and like what it's trying to do or say, which I think is why I tend to like horror that has deeper themes, because it's, I don't know.
Yeah, but the only thing that gets me is like when there's no when there's a mythology, but the mythology doesn't make sense. That's when it's difficult for me.
Yeah. That's fair. Brianna also doesn't like watching horror, but reading horror has lifted a lot of the mysterious veil that religion put on the genre. Yeah, it's a real thing. Everyone has different symptoms when they're scared. Is there a finite? I don't know. And I don't know that there has to be. I think it's different for everybody, which is okay. Mm-hmm. Horror makes me less scared and anxious in real life because I can channel it in a controlled environment. Yeah, I think that does make sense because you know it's safe. Like, yeah. That is why, though, I don't like some of the super extreme horror stuff. Like, I find that disturbing. But yeah. Don't know how I got the booktube therapy name. Bree, how do you not know? You're our resident booktube therapist. I love it. It's amazing. Okay. Well, we're like 35 minutes in. We should probably sprint. This has been fun though. All right, let me find do you want to do like a 30-minute?
Yeah.
30-minute sprint? Okay. All right. So we will do a 30-minute reading sprint, and we will see you all back in a minute. Oh, okay, I'll take a quick look at these last comments before we do this. But I wish horror made me less scared or anxious. I read some horror and thrillers in high school, but I feel like they contributed to the anxiety. Yeah,
I feel that.
I can feel that.
that's fair. I don't like thrillers, actually. For me, like, those are two different things. I have to be careful with how many thrillers I read because they can contribute to my anxiety. Those two types of horror work for me. I don't know.
I feel like thrillers is like, don't trust anyone ever because something bad will happen to you.
Mm-hmm. What did I just do? Why did that? I didn't take this out. Why did it do that? Okay, hold on. Oh, there we go. Or did we do that? Oh, okay. I'm like playing with the layout. I probably am a Legends and Lattes pusher. I love a good cozy thing. I was forced to watch the first Grudge movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
No!
Yeah.
That is a horrible movie to watch for the very first time.
I haven't seen that one, but
Ooh.
like, yeah, it depends on what it is too. Like,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. When I say that I find like horror movies cathartic, I mean mostly slashers. Slashers are surprisingly cathartic to watch. They have like a formula, and it's very comforting.
Yes.
I never would have thought I would enjoy a slasher. But
have you
like
seen
a few
Happy
years
Death
ago,
Day?
No, I haven't seen very many. I'm slowly seeing a few. Like I
definitely recommend that one.
Okay.
I also think just people who make other people, I mean, watch anything, but especially horror, like, they suck. Like, that's awful.
Yeah. You should never make anybody watch anything they're uncomfortable with. Yeah. Yes. True story. Reality is almost always scarier than any horror movie. Yeah. Pretty sure reading Lord of the Flies in high school is 90% of my anxiety, dislike, and distrust of people. Listen, that book is something.
Mm-hmm. For me, it was The Jungle.
Oh, yeah. We only like talked about excerpts of it, and I'm like, I can't do this.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, y'all. We're gonna do 30 minutes. We'll see you back here. Happy reading. All right.
The cat scared me.
Sorry.
I was actually prepared for it this time. So.
Yeah, I know. The first time I saw it, I also was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I went and made tea because I was like, I feel like I need some caffeine this afternoon.
Yes. Yeah. I already had 2 cups of coffee today, so I feel you.
I made a smoothie.
Nice.
I also toasted a bagel. So this was all of our like unofficial snack break. Like
yeah. It's like mid-afternoon, you know? Makes sense.
Yeah.
Did anybody read?
I did actually. I read about a chapter of Along the Saltway Sea, and I'm liking it. I still feel like the book is trying to force us to like Zib more than Avery, and I love poor Avery, but it's good. And I also like Zib. It's just like,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like they're trying to make me think Zib is more interesting.
That's interesting. Okay. Michelle, did you?
I got, see, the thing is about this is that this person has multiple habits that they want marked throughout the week. Mm-hmm. And so the most tedious thing is this. But the person really needs it. So I'm like, I'm willing to just draw hexagon after hexagon after hexagon if it helps you.
Have you, I don't know if that's what this is. This may just be like to help somebody, but have you considered doing personalized things as a, like on Etsy or something?
That was something that I thought about, but I don't know how I would go about that.
We should talk about it.
We'll talk. Yeah.
Okay. Is this always, I feel like this is always what I end up doing with people is I'm like, let me help my friends start businesses so they can.
I love it. It's like one of your ways of being supportive is it's like, let me help you get the compensation you deserve. Like,
it's true.
I love that.
It's true. Yeah, so I read like 30% of The Lies of the Ajungo. I mean, it's a novella, so it's pretty short. But yeah, so far it's interesting. It's like set in a desert, going out and searching for water because they need, I don't know, it's too complicated to explain the whole thing. But like, like it's very convoluted, but I like it. It's good. Let's see. Cat made you jump with your Sorry. Jessica did not read. That's okay. First reading sprint complete.
Ooh,
yes. Love it. On page 103. Nice. Borrowed White Horse. Interesting so far. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good one. Read 2 chapters of House of Leaves. That is an accomplishment. Those are... Oh, yeah, you were talking in Discord, right? About, like, struggling with it, I think. That was you, Fairy Librarian. Book is something. Read 40 pages of Mask of Mirrors. It's not getting better, but I bought this book. You do not have to finish it, even if you bought it. You really,
the money's already been
really
spent.
Don't. So, you know,
we've all been there at one point.
Yeah. Hello, Kelly. Welcome. Yesterday night, I was about to have ice cream as dessert. What? Oh. You can eat ice cream. I mean, you know, it's not like the best thing for a cold, but you could. I
always say, like, when you're sick, you should eat what your body tells you is good. Like, basically, I mean, within reason, but yeah.
The only thing about ice cream is that after a certain time in the night, it makes the mucus worse. But
yeah, no, I was thinking that, like,
that's true. If it's dairy, at least you could do a non-dairy ice cream.
That's true.
Fine. But yeah, it's true. I don't let my kids drink milk when they're sick just because it makes mucus worse.
Yeah, it really does.
Did try a chapter and decided A Marvelous Light over Spite House. Nice. They are very different books, so I feel like it's like really what you're in the mood for. Yes, that was you. Okay. Yeah, good luck with House of Leaves, because man, that was a journey when I read it. Read a chapter of The Well of Storms. Okay, cool. Oh, wow. 24 pages of Ulysses by James Joyce. Okay, good luck with that. That is one I have yet to try to conquer.
Wow.
Maybe one day.
That's ambitious.
Mm-hmm. It's an intense one. Oh, no. Well, I mean, mine is caffeinated, but you know, tea has a lot less caffeine than coffee, so I feel okay about it, especially if you don't let it steep for too long. Yeah. I have a nice Earl Grey. Daughter is sick and hasn't been eating, so eat anything. We're on meal 3 of cereal. Listen, you know what? It's true. Like when my kids are super sick, I'm like, yes, sure, have all the popsicles you want. They're at least their fruit juice. It's fine.
Right.
Then
They're
it's like,
hydrating.
at least you're eating something.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Read 28 pages. Nice. Love it. Well, you could always go get some non-dairy ice cream. There are some good ones. Ben & Jerry's has some pretty good non-dairy ice cream now, actually.
Might have to check that out.
Yeah. Oof. Good luck. Favorite classic book? Oh boy. Anybody have a favorite?
I mean, I have, as with all things, I have many favorites.
Many favorites. Same.
Like, you know, Jane Austen, of course. Secret Garden was like a formative favorite one for me. I got it as like a kid, and it was one of the first books I remember like reading over and over. And I love how much of a little brat Mary is. Pretty unusual for a children's classic in the Victorian period.
That's true.
I'm looking at my other shelf.
I really had to think about that one because there are not many classics that I've read that I was like, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
I used to really love To Kill a Mockingbird until I found out all that stuff about what's her name, and then I was like, no.
I mean, the thing about that too is like she didn't even want to publish it, so I'm like, is that even
the new
canon?
one? You mean?
Yeah,
the new one? Yeah.
It's like, is that even canon? I don't know. Like, if she did not intend to, but
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
but I would say I think that I've never read it, but I like the movie adaptations of Sense and Sensibility.
That's a good one.
That is good. I love Jane Austen. I would say a couple of my favorites are Little Women was a formative one for me, and I reread it recently and still really loved it.
I've always wanted to read that one.
It's really good. You know, I think it's particularly interesting now going back and reading it and having a little bit of context about the author, because based on everything we know about her, Louisa May Alcott, she never married, but she was probably queer. Like, she talks about having like fallen desperately in love with a lot of women. And I think when you know that, it changes the way you interpret some things in the book, which is interesting.
I feel that way about Anne of Green Gables and Diana.
Yes. Yeah. In hindsight, Diana might have been like my first sort of like media crush.
Same.
Like, now that I'm like looking back on it. Yeah. I think also Jane Eyre I really love as well. I know not everybody does, but that's definitely one of my favorites. And the Chronicles of Narnia, I know they have problems, but they were just so formative for me and such comfort reads. Like, I got them for my 7th birthday and have reread them so many times. So like, I recognize the problems with them, but I still love them.
No, like exactly the same. And there's like some books that have more issues in others, but there are also like a lot of good things about it, like the fact that, and I saw somebody talking about this because I'd never noticed it, but like C.S. Lewis having the exact same number of female and male main characters, like that was not a thing a lot of people were doing. And I don't know, it's like I'm with you, Bethany. It's like I totally understand why people would not want to read them today. And if sometimes people ask me like what I recommend them, and I'm like, it's complicated. But
exactly. Yes, that is exactly it. Yeah. Oh man. Still at work, but wishing you could be knitting or reading right now. Oh, sorry.
Something to look forward to.
Oh, pregnancy. Yeah. Yeah, I like when I was pregnant, I did lots of decaf drinks so I could have multiples. But yeah, that's that. I remember that. I'm sorry. Not a tour book, but trying to finish The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. I love it so much. You know, a lot of people seem not to like it, but it's one of my favorite things I've read this year so far. It is all the vibes, though. Like, so I totally get why people who are not vibes readers. It reminds me of how my favorite book last year was Siren Queen, which is also like very vibes. I feel like those books have a lot in common. Glad you're enjoying it. We have a suggestion for Oatly for oat milk ice cream. Love it. Oh yeah, Googling words, nice. Little Women, yeah. Emma is a good one. Jane Austen is always just interesting. And I think people think of her stuff as just being romance, but it's so much more than that.
The like social commentary.
Social commentary, yes. Oh, it's her stuff's great.
Yeah. Wuthering Heights, it's like anytime people talk about why they hate it, I'm like, I don't disagree with you about any of this, but like I'm kind of trash for it. I don't know. It just
I love it too, but it's not a romance.
No, it's really not.
Problem is because I see people get like, oh, it's so terrible, it's so toxic, it's not a good romance, and I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not supposed to be a romance.
Like we are supposed to be like horrified.
Right? I'm like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, Emily Bronte wasn't trying to like sell us on it. She's like, look at these disasters and all the harm they cause the bystanders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Frankenstein is a good one too. I like Frankenstein. I want to reread that at some point. Favorite classic so far is Carmilla and Dracula. I have not read either of those yet.
I still need to read Carmilla, but Dracula's fun.
I need to read the last one before that. The
Wuthering Heights.
I haven't read that one either, but
yeah, Dracula is a fun one. It's like my favorite of the monster classics.
Were you thinking of Frankenstein?
Frankenstein, yeah.
Okay.
It's so interesting, right? It was written by a teenage girl, and it's one of like. Listen. She was a very interesting person, Mary Shelley.
I am not a Frankenstein fan, but I really respect what she did for like inventing the science fiction genre, essentially.
Yeah. So. Yes. Another Frankenstein fan. Ooh, yeah, Picture of Dorian Gray. Yeah. Oscar Wilde's great.
He is.
Really liked Frankenstein. Anne and Diana were absolutely girlfriends. Yeah. Jane Eyre. I love The Importance. Have you seen the movie? Oh my God. The Importance of Being Earnest film is hilarious. Like that is so my kind of humor.
I love that one. Yeah. I think my favorite play of his is Lady Windermere's Fan. It's not like such a ridiculous like comedy, but I really love it. But Importance of Being Earnest is such a good time.
Man, I haven't seen that in so long. Now I want to go watch The Importance of Being Earnest. It's got such a great cast too. That was really good adaptation.
Yeah.
Throw out the light. Yeah, you know what? Most of my rereads of the series, I would just skip The Last Battle, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one very much.
Yep.
Speaking of, childhood religious trauma. Gosh. Jane Austen, Emma or Persuasion?
Yeah. Persuasion is one of my favorites.
Good. You know, we're doing a podcast episode on Persuasion this month.
Nice.
Should be fun. I for the podcast I watched the Netflix adaptation. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I have mixed feelings though. I went in expecting to like absolutely hate it, and I hated parts of it.
I think it's just the like now references are kind of weird.
There's a lot. Yeah, I'm like, I mean,
why would, like, if you're gonna pick a Jane Austen to make like a silly break the fourth wall comedy, don't do Persuasion. No. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I would have been, you know what, that's a good point, because it really irritated me, the talking to the camera, but I probably would have been more okay with it if they did that with like Emma, for instance. Like it would,
or like even Northanger Abbey, like
right? Yes, yeah. Exactly. Because then it fits with the vibe of the book. It's weird in Persuasion.
Persuasion's not really a comedy. Like there are some like really fun and clever lines. Like there's humor in it, but it's not a comedy.
No,
like,
it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, Pioneers. Oh, I've never read that.
I want to read that one. I'm glad to hear you love it.
Nice. Oh, a friend who was in The Importance of Being Earnest. That's fun. It's really funny. Yes, Caitlin. People who call Wuthering Heights a romance, I'm questioning if they actually read it. Yeah, I mean,
I wonder if sorry, go ahead, Bethany.
I was just gonna say it's like the kind of romance that dark romance readers read now, right? Isn't it kind of like it's like the OG dark romance, except it was never supposed to be a romance?
Right, but that's the thing, which like I feel like the difference between it and dark romance is like Emily Bronte's not trying to make you think it's like romantic, but
yeah,
I wonder if people get thrown off by like the writing being so beautiful about like these horrible people and their horrible relationships, and they're like, oh well, if she describes it this way, then that must be something that we're supposed to like. And it's like, no, it's just sounds good. Not actually good.
That is very possible. What I love about Austen is the cast of side characters. She really builds a whole community. I feel like Gilmore Girls had to be influenced by her. Yeah, I can see that. I agree with that. She does good side characters.
Yes.
Oh, planning on reading Wuthering Heights, worried you'll get confused by the characters with the same names. Yeah. I mean, that is a fair concern. You kind of have to pay attention.
It's like three names in that whole book.
Yeah. Recently read Maurice for the first time, which was great. I have not read that. Recommendation for Carmilla. The Sorrows of Young Werther. I don't know anything about that. Totally agree with contemporary references in the movie. Yeah. It should be a fun podcast episode, though. We've got, because I reread it and watched the movie for the first time. Izzy, it's her first time reading Jane Austen. And then Alexa Dunn is coming on as a guest. And she's like a huge fan of Persuasion and hated the movie. So it should be interesting.
Some good content coming.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Okay. Well, sorry.
The things I've heard about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The things I've heard about it, I'm like, probably not one for me.
Okay. Interesting. All right. I'm glad I made tea because I'm like, I need the caffeine right now. We're doing taxes tomorrow, so.
We already got ours done like really early.
Oh, I'm so impressed. We never do.
Calvin's one of those people that's like, as soon as his W-2 comes in, he's like, when's yours coming in? I'm like, well, they sent them on this day, and he's like, And then as soon as we had it done, we were like, we signed the papers, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And
Hey.
we got a refrigerator, or not a refrigerator. We got a washer now.
Yay!
So,
Oh, good.
Nice.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping we get a decent return so we can pay for kids' summer camps.
Yeah.
they're going to summer camp? What is that?
Well, I mean, I don't know about like, it's not like camp, it's more like,
A day camp.
yeah,
kind of
day
thing.
camps, because we need to work. Yeah.
I've never
Although-
been to a camp in general.
Yeah, I didn't really either. But it's kind of a thing here that I don't know. It's kind of a pain too, because you have to like sign up for stuff in February because spots get filled up.
Wow.
And it's so expensive. So we're not doing it for the whole summer. We're going to try, there's like a citywide summer school program that's free. So we're going to try signing them up for that this year. But we are letting each of them pick something they want to do for like a 2-week camp. So, like, I really hope the summer school thing works out. I was too nervous to do it last year because one of my kids has a bunch of like food allergies and stuff, but they're old enough now. I'm kind of like, okay, we're gonna try it. Friends of ours had a good experience, so hopefully.
At least someone next to you had a good experience
Mhm.
with it too, because then you know, like,
Yeah.
okay, they're okay, so we're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like we don't live somewhere where they can just like go play outside by themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like they have to have supervision, and like we can't supervise them 24/7. So.
I applaud you, because I'm just like, I don't trust anybody with my children. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing it, but I applaud you for it.
I mean, I guess part of it is that they go to an after school program already. And like we do that after school program. Sometimes we'll run day camps for school breaks that we send them to. So I've kind of gotten used to it a bit. And I think it's different too, because they're a little bit older and they're able to like communicate with me if there are problems. And so like I would not send them to a sleepaway camp. No.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It makes you feel like you're falling without a parachute.
I'm like, I won't even let them do sleepovers, much less a sleepaway camp. I'm like, no. Like, you are coming home at the end of the day, and we can discuss if there are any problems that need to be addressed. But that's, yeah. Yeah. So, just borrowed Wuthering Heights. Good luck. Hope you enjoy it. Wow, Jessica, how'd you return for 3 weeks? That's so impressive. I mean, I feel like we're doing pretty good because it's like early March. Usually we put it off a lot longer. I'm like, hey, we're on it this year.
Ahead of the game.
Okay, wow. Trust no one with my kids either, but they're small, 4 and 1.5 years. Yeah, that's fair. That's pretty young. Whereas I'm trying to figure out like how we start easing my older kid into being more independent and what that looks like living in a city, because he's about to turn 9. And so I'm like, okay, I need like what can we do that's, I don't know.
And also there's like more of, you know, like when you have a BIPOC child, you have to talk about so much more than just like a regular white child too.
Yes.
That I'm not ready for.
Yeah.
Like the whole like autistic kids being, you know, like, you know, I've seen so many now where I've seen like police like pulling them over and like tackling them, and I'm just like, that's my nightmare.
It's scary, yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of difficult conversations. Um, well, and then also because like I also have a gender nonconforming child, and so that just also can be scary at times. So,
Especially because they're getting older, then it's like
mhm.
you take a breath and then you
Yep.
just somehow proceed on.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of have to like do the best you can to give them a safe space and support them as much as possible. And yeah, yep. I just
Sorry,
hope.
it just went way down there.
No, it's okay. I mean, and I think that's the reality though of like parenthood, especially when you have kids who have some kind of marginalized identity that in whatever form, like there is definitely fear that goes with that, and you just have to like do the best you can to prepare them and hope that things go okay, you know? Yeah.
Feel that.
Yep. Worked in camping for 15 years. Wow. You know, I'm sure there can be with sleepaway, but I do not trust it.
Yeah.
I
We grew
just
up,
don't.
you have to also, we grew up in the era of like the camp movies and seeing how badly counselors treated children, and we're like, no.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like less my concern, to be honest. It's more like the experiences I had going to stuff with other teenagers or
Mm,
kids because like I guess that's the thing, like I'm like a little bit less. I mean, yes, I'm sure there are problems with counselors occasionally, but like that's less my concern. It's the stuff that they don't see other kids doing, or the stuff that they
yeah.
don't put a stop to because they think it's just like normal behavior or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only like kind of activity, like summer thing that it wasn't a camp, but it was like a program where I was staying like with basically in a dorm. I think I was
Mhm.
like 16 or something. Like maybe my parents would have been fine if I wanted to go earlier, but like that was the age that I felt like, oh yeah, okay, this is something that I can feasibly do, and my parents were comfortable with it. It's like we were never like my parents never sent us to like a sleepaway activity either. Like it was like day camp stuff
Yeah,
where like if there was a problem, we could call them and they could get us if we needed to. But
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's different once they're at the age where like you're starting to let them make their own decisions anyway
Yeah.
because they're going to soon be adults. Like if you're like 15, 16, like that's a different story from,
Yeah, your kids are
you know,
young for I feel like for a sleepaway. I don't have
I
kids.
yeah,
I don't know anything. But
no, they are. Well, but it's like starting kids around 8 and 9 are starting to do sleepaway camps here and I'm like, mm-mm.
weird. Yeah.
Nope, not happening.
Yeah.
But, that's me. People got to make their own decisions what will work for them, but I'm not on the spectrum and had been communication issues in your past. Yeah, I mean I think that makes sense. It's probably hard to learn how to um, handle things. At least like now, I feel like there's a little bit more awareness, but it's still hard. Oh, yeah.
It's always
Guess I
sleep away
can't
for
trust
5 seconds
myself with
and
my
it's
kids
always
either.
something.
It's just how kids are. Listen, I mean, there is really always something. Yep. Hey Jess, good luck with your taxes. I know I do too. I think too, like once you're like doing creating and making this, like it makes taxes more complicated if you're like making income, but you can
Yeah.
write off a lot of stuff as deductions. So,
So, I hate to interrupt, but how long are you guys gonna be on?
um, that is a great question. I was thinking soon-ish we could do like one more sprint.
So I gotta go pick up Soren, but I'm
Okay.
coming back. So
Okay,
that's why
you
I
can
was
see
like,
if
sorry, go ahead.
oh, just you can see if we're still on. I don't know. Like I definitely can't go past 5 my time, but I don't know if I even want to go quite that long, so we'll see. And it's
Okay.
like 3:40 now, so definitely I would say probably not more than another hour, maybe less. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'm gonna go and then I'll message back and be like, hey, are you guys still on?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
Alrighty.
I'll
Thanks
see
for
you.
joining,
Bye.
Michelle. Bye.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have let's zoom us in. I was a Girl Scout and went to camp all the time. Yeah, see, this is different, right? Your mom was your leader. Like my husband also went to Boy Scout camp, but his dad was the troop leader. Like, I mean,
Right.
so I think that's, and I don't want to manage that many of other people's children. But, oh, right, and buying a house. Yeah, that's going to be hard. Camper, I was introduced to different people beyond my conservative hometown. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being valuable. I do think too it depends on the age. Like I said, like it's one thing if they're
Yeah.
like older teenagers versus younger kids, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't have even wanted to go to that kind of thing when I was younger than that. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I never was like excited about like camp type things anyway. But yeah, the idea of just like not being able to get help if something went wrong just
Mhm.
really worried me. And I'm sure my parents.
Yeah. Whereas not me, I was such an adventurer. I was like, I want to go do all the things. We just couldn't like afford to do stuff when I was super young. But when I was a teenager, I would like, I mean, listen, now in hindsight, like some of the, I mean, I like raised money to send myself on like a missions trip thing, which now in hindsight, I'm like, that was, you know, more of a tourist activity than it was really that helpful. And do I actually think that what we were doing was useful or good?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I think there are examples of people who do stuff where it is genuinely like helping the but that was not us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got to travel so that a little bit. That was exciting. Yeah. All right. Well, do you want to do another 30-minute sprint?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let me see if I can get this set up again. It like defaults to 25 minutes, so I have to like fix it. But let's see. What is this? I like Camp as a Young Kid because people leave me alone in my corner reading my literature books. Oh, that's great. Leading is easier when you have co-leaders. Yeah. That's good. I mean, I'm sure you probably were safe, and I feel like that is probably a good way to do it if you're going to do something like that. I mean, and we try to find other ways to expose our kids to different places and things, and like
Right.
I send them to different, day camp activities and stuff. It's just, it's the overnight stuff that makes me
And it's
wary.
also like depending on the camp, but it's like the types of activities are just often things that you probably would want, like you would want to be the one watching your kid. Not that you necessarily don't trust the other adults, but there's a difference between I know there's an adult around and like I am the one watching my child swim and like, so.
Yeah. I mean, although honestly, like I'm sending my kids to like day camps where they're going to go swimming this summer. So
Okay,
like,
yeah. Well, it was just like an example.
But yeah, I get that. I think it varies. I don't know. That's probably true, Jessica. We're in New York City. My kids are more overexposed than, yeah. Yep. Well, I think for them, actually, the trick is not so much getting them exposed to like cultural things, but more getting them exposed to nature because we live in the city. Like, so what I try to do is like get them occasionally out of the city so they can
Yeah.
like experience the natural
There's
world.
grass. Like,
There are trees and
yeah.
plants and like, yeah. So it's just different. It's like, let's go somewhere where we can go hiking and yeah. All right, let's do this. Read for 30 minutes and see you back.
All right.
All right.
I was ready.
You were. I was like, no, I was. I'm like at the climax of the novella I'm reading.
Oh no!
It's
It
okay.
always happens.
Of course. I'm at like 76%. So
Yeah.
but it's interesting. Oh, how'd your reading go, everybody?
Mine was good. I'm about halfway through, so I can definitely finish this today.
Hey,
Michelle's back. And I'm also getting pretty close to being done on my hat, which is exciting.
Nice. Love it.
I was watching on the TV. I was like, oh no, they're gonna be back soon. Like I got back at like, I don't know, like 3. So I've just been chilling.
Yeah.
Nice. Love it. Let's see. Okay, Caitlin DNF'd it. Good job. Listen, life is too short to read books that you're not loving. Hopefully someone else will enjoy them. Almost done with page 111. Nice. Started Confessions, about 40 pages in. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I think I'll finish Lies of the Ajungo pretty quickly. I've maybe 15 minutes left in it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. It'll be my first tour book of the month.
Yes. Yeah, I'm hoping to hit that today too.
Nice. Worked on a reading spreadsheet. Yay, spreadsheets. Love it. Finished
I gotta go to my library for that.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Mm.
Let's see. Finished the chapter of House of Leaves and decided to give my brain a break, so switched to Emerald Green by Kirsten Gear. Nice. Sounds fun. Yay! Almost ready to read. Hopefully you get there soon. Got to page 43. Keep having to remind myself the book was published in 1922 because, oh yeah. Okay. Great. I mean, there was plenty of anti-Semitism in the 1920s as well, so
yeah.
Yep. Boy. Lovely. Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. It's always hard because, anytime I feel like you read older books, the likelihood of running into something is high.
Yeah.
Racism, anti-Semitism, misogyny, colonialism. Yeah. I mean, there's just, it's...
Yeah.
So...
I think the other day it was a couple weeks ago where I was brushing my teeth and I just, out of nowhere, I was like, Willy Wonka was a colonizer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's really, it is something.
Yeah.
Which, they still read it. My kids have read that book and and I get why they like it, but there are parts of it where I'm like, let's pause and talk about this thing and why it's just not okay.
I think it's important to develop early the skills to there are things that I like about this, but also problems, and that's okay to talk about both.
Yeah, we do a lot of that. Or I'll point out this is fat phobic.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids know, and kids are smart, once they get used to it, they'll notice, they'll be like, hey, that's mean. This is this and this.
Yeah.
So they notice and they'll comment on, whatever. So I think it's good. Let's see. Yeah, got back from the library with your TBR. Love it. Let us know what you pick. Have 2 books for Tor.comathon down. Love it. 2 novellas. Starting Book of Night. Okay. Nice. 100 years from now, they'll probably say the same thing about books published today. I mean, accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like we have it all figured out. I mean, I have problems with things being published today. So
yeah, I read a George MacDonald story last month or the month before that. He was like a Victorian writer, and I'm like, the consent in this book is better than some modern authors I have read. That is like,
yeah.
upsetting.
I used to love George MacDonald. He was like one of the first people to write like fantasy. His stuff actually like inspired like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis.
Yeah. I've been loving what I've read from him, and like there's definitely still parts where it's like, okay, yes, this was written by a Victorian man, but like for the most part it holds up really well. I just like him as a person too. He seems like he was a very, I don't know, very cool guy.
Yeah, love it. Have Schindler's List on your TBR this year. Oof, that's gonna be a lot. Yeah, good luck. That's
I could barely take the movie, but much less the book. I remember my sociology professor used to be like, if you want to come to this nightly thing that we have where I'm playing the Schindler's List and you'll get extra credit, and I was always like, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah. Yay, Vicky! 2/3 of the way through, even though I knew the end, and you're loving it. Yay! I'm so glad. That's awesome. It's really good. I'm happy that we're doing it. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if I should see if CL Polk would be up for doing something.
Who's that again?
They're the author of Even Though I Knew the End and like some other stuff. They I like their books, and I follow them on TikTok as well.
I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that name before. I just
probably. They've had like a few books.
Does this count?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I found one.
Love it. Yeah.
I love that one.
I follow CL Polk on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, TikTok. So, like, maybe I should reach out to them and see if they would be up for doing something since we're reading their book. I don't know. We'll see. You never know. You never know if you don't ask.
Right.
What's the worst he can say? No.
Yeah, exactly. Recently tried to read some childhood favorites written by a Dutch author in the 1950s and got rid of them so fast. Oof.
Yikes.
Yeah. I apparently too right now there's a project where they're doing a new edit of Roald Dahl books.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah.
For children because like of some of like the racially insensitive and like anti-Semitic stuff. Some of which is like kind of baked in with some of his stories though. So I don't know. There's some interesting conversations happening around that.
Yeah, because I can see the argument for not wanting to take it out in a way because it's like you're kind of sanitizing it, but also like we do know better now and we should use that. I don't know. It's the kind of thing that like not every kid reading it is going to have parents or guardians who are like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this book and some of the issues it has, and like
right. I mean, there are things too that I just skip over or literally censor in our own books because I'm just like, this is no, we're not even reading that, So I guess that's the thing is there's a line for me at least between the things where I'm like, this has problems and we can have that conversation versus things that I'm like, I'm not reading that to my children because no, but I don't know. I think we've had like people have done this for a long time of like editing different books, and as long as there's transparency about it, I don't know that I have a problem with it for like editions for children, but there's so many books that they've done that with. They've also done that with like the audiobooks of Agatha Christie's stuff take
Oh.
out a lot of the racist things that are in her.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Which is really weird when you're listening to the audiobook and reading side by side, which I've done before, and I'm like, wait, what? And like they just take out stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. Nice. I hope you enjoy your replacement for Mask of Mirrors. Yes, Witchmark was great. That was by Seal Polk as well. I don't agree with the changes. He was who he was. Start recommending new books that aren't that. I mean, fair. I do think part of it is that there are adaptations of the stories coming. To me it's a mixed bag, because I do think that there is like and people can disagree with me on this, and some people will, but like I do find value in reading things that are classics. And I don't mean so much rewriting history. Like, you can talk about who people were, but I don't know. I don't have a problem with doing updated editions, like, because they've done that for a lot of different books.
Right. It's been happening for a while, and like you said, as long as they're transparent about it, and there could even be, I don't know how they're planning to do it, and I guess for a kids edition it might be a little different, but like you can even do like make that part of the introductory material.
Yeah, have like an author's note or an intro. Yeah, like an introduction with it. Yeah,
like, and that would actually, in a way, I think add to the experience of the book, because then you're kind of like encouraging the kind of conversation that you can have about these classics. But I also think, it recommend other books as well. Like that would also be a good.
For sure. Well, I think it's different, right? Like if you're reading like classics, like classic children's books, I think it should be partly historically contextualized. I don't know. And not every parent wants to do that for their kids. I'm just a book nerd who will do that. So, I don't know. Rewrites. It does sound like a controversial video. Good point. For those who don't know, I like have a goal of doing one controversial video a month for the year. So and my patrons right now have been voting on like some of my controversial video ideas, which it's been really interesting to see which ones are the most popular.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I have one planned for what's his name? The TJ Klune. I was going to do one on another person, but something happened, and then I was like, you know what, we're not going to do that right now, because then it'll just make the entire situation so much worse than it already is.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. Yeah, I think right now, what is winning? This is because the winner is probably going to be what I do for March. And then I'll save some other ideas for later. But yeah. I think I know what it is, but let me double check. Yeah, definitely by far the winner is Bad Books I Love Anyway.
Classic.
Yeah. So I think that'll be fun. Relatively closely followed by one that would take a lot more work and research that I will probably do in the future, and will be probably more controversial, which is Orson Scott Card, Homophobic Rhetoric versus Homoerotic Themes in His Early Work.
Bum, bum, bum.
I say this having been a very big teenage fan of Orson Scott Card and having read the majority of the books he's written, and there are some very interesting things that he wrote early in his writing career. So
I think I've only ever read Ender's Game by him, but I remember being weirded out by the sibling stuff.
Yeah, there's also like, to be honest, even Ender's Game has some like kind of homoerotic undertones, but there's
Right.
some other books that even more so, like early. Anyway, it would be an interesting video. I'd need to go. I would need to reread some things that I haven't read in a long time and like take notes and stuff if I was going to do it. But I do think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested.
Yeah. It's interesting seeing the comparison of like, you wrote these things, but then you said these things later on, and like,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, some people do nuance, Jessica, like, but there are large swaths of people who don't. That's true. I study Latin and ancient Greek in uni, and we've had some conversations about where the line is between translating with modern sensitivities in mind and imposing modern ideas on the text. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tough balance to strike, and this is where I think editorial notes can probably be helpful.
Yeah.
I think retellings of the story that change or have social commentary on the problematic stuff is great, but rewriting the original is a slippery slope. Yeah, I guess the thing is just that they've been doing this with many different classic books for a long time, even just for like updating science that is now inaccurate or like things like that. So I guess I just don't, but as like, I guess I just don't have a problem with it as long as like, which is why, like, for instance, like Frankenstein we were talking about earlier, there are several different editions of Frankenstein, some of which were published during Mary Shelley's lifespan. Even there's like the original edition, and then there's her later edited edition, and there's other edited editions. So there's just like, I don't know, like, I don't know that I feel like a book has to be exactly whatever it was when it first came out. But yeah, this is where I'm saying transparency is important, like for the censoring thing, because I hear what you're saying, especially right now with some of the like book banning stuff. It's complicated. Controversial video co-host, the best out there.
But is that even controversial in the wider scheme of things? I feel like she is really popular. Like,
no, but she's terrible. What? I will say, if I was feeling particularly snarky, it could be funny to do something that was like clearly satire. I don't know. We'll see.
And then at the end, just be like, "Gotcha! She's actually terrible."
No, it would have to be clear from the whole thing, but like try to, with a straight face, like discuss the details of these romances and gush about how romantic they are when clearly they're not. I don't know. But again, I would have to like go and read more Coho, which I don't really want to
Maybe
do.
you could make it interesting, and like, in like New Girl, where Schmidt, every time he says something like douchebaggy, he has to put $1 in the jar. Maybe you could make it like some kind of challenge where if anytime you laugh, you have to put $1 in the jar.
I don't know, though. I already suffered through 2 of her books for content purposes. It's like, do I really want to do that to myself again? I don't know.
That's a lot.
Yeah. We'll see. The Onion style. Exactly, Jessica. That is, yes, like the Onion. That's what I was thinking. America in general, we do not. Mm-hmm. Fair. Yeah, Jessica, I see what you're saying.
I agree that retellings are a great way to kind of balance those things. Like, I really like the remix classics and like getting to see all these authors that are like taking on, like, I love seeing like native authors do Peter Pan retellings. Like, I really like that trend. So that's something where you can, like, you're not changing the original, but you're providing alternatives that, like,
hey,
I haven't read that one.
No, me either. The Tale of Tiger Lily by Jill Featherstone. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I think it can be a really interesting way to sort of subvert some of the issues with it. One thing that I saw that I liked as well that did that actually side by side is there was a collection where it was retellings of Edgar Allan Poe and reprintings of the original Edgar Allan Poe stories, which was kind of cool because you got like the classics alongside
Yeah.
the retakes on it, which I think is kind of interesting for like from even just like for a classroom type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just read last month the newest remix classic that's coming out, the Jekyll and Hyde one, My Dear Henry by Kaylin Barron. It's really good because it's like using the story to talk about racism and homophobia in Victorian England, and it's great.
Yeah. I just saw that Sherry Dimeline has a Secret Garden retelling coming out later this year, and I'm so excited. Also, the cover is beautiful. Like,
that's exciting.
I can't wait.
That.
Yeah. And also, I think something too is like a lot of times these retellings, it's not like they're trying to rewrite the original. They're kind of pulling things out of the original that were already there and like talking about them. Like, I still need to read Tasha Suri's Wuthering Heights retelling.
Yes.
I'm so excited to get to it. And that's one where like, if you read Wuthering Heights, there's like a lot of references to that I think suggest Heathcliff is not white. And so that's something that she's actually like taking and like centering and talking about. So people acting like, oh, you're, I don't know, like you're rewriting history or you're reinventing things. It's like, no, a lot of times like it's already there.
It's
and
in
we're
the text. It's just
handling it better now.
Well, or that like the adaptations have been whitewashed, which I think has been definitely the case because the Heathcliff actors they've cast have all been white, but in the original text, it suggests that he probably wasn't. Well, and similarly with My Dear Henry, she talks about in the author's note that there is like gay subtext to the original story that she's kind of drawing on. So I think it's interesting. Yes, His Hideous Heart is the book I was talking about that does the retellings of the Edgar Allan Poe stories with the originals. Yes, My Dear Henry and Secret Gardener, most anticipated this year. Awesome. Yay. Love it. Yeah, the Wuthering Heights one is good. That came out last year. Was there any doubt that Heathcliff was white? Oh, wasn't white. Yeah, okay, so I have seen people try to make the argument that he was just like Irish or something, but no, I think he was not white.
Yeah, like I get that it's hard when you're talking about like Victorian England, like anybody who was not like super white English, they called them like dark, you know, like he could be like Italian or Spanish or something.
That's
but like
true.
The specific words they use, I'm like, it sounds very much like he's like a person of color, like or possibly biracial, you know, like it's especially if you subscribe to the idea that maybe he's Kathy's half brother.
Like, right. Which is interesting. Well, and then the thing too, and I think this is an issue with film adaptations and people's conceptions of things, because also if you're reading closely in other Victorian novels, like Jane Austen's work, for instance, there are references to people of color as side characters. Like not everybody was white during that time period in England. And, you know, so which is why I like the fact that casting is starting to be a little bit better about it. And people like get up in arms like, oh, well, there weren't people, but there were people of color living there. Like, yeah.
Well, and like the fact that there were so many like wealthy British aristocrats. Yeah. There were so many wealthy British aristocrats who would, you know, have like plantations in like the Caribbean or whatever. And there were enough of them who had like mistresses and then children from them that like there was this standing practice of like bringing them back to England to be educated. Like, so there were clearly enough like people of color that this was not something, I don't know, like it's not like, yes, it was a more homogenous society, but it's not like they'd never seen a black person, you know, like that's just not how the world worked. Like,
no, like in fact, the Queen of England had a ward that was like black from Africa or something. Yeah, so it's interesting. This in my car waiting for a grocery pickup, but I stopped at the bookstore and picked up Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches.
Ooh.
Yay! That's exciting. I'm reading that next month for
I'm reading
patron
that
vlog.
eventually.
Yeah.
Also
someday.
for a vlog.
Nice. Yeah, it's the like patrons voted on it, so that's what I'm reading for April. So, yeah, that's exciting. It's fun. I love that they like make me pick stuff up. Like I don't know if I ever would have read The Girl Who Drank the Moon,
I'm
which
so
I
happy
read.
you love that one.
It's so
I
good.
still need to watch the video, but I saw that you loved it and it makes me
I
so
did love
happy.
it. It was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. It just stopped a reading slump for you. That's so great.
Yes, I love
Hi. Reading Ray Bear. Ray Bear is great. Yes. Jess, oh, you love that book too. It's so good. I don't think I would have picked it up. Listen, I say this in the video, well, and I'll say it here because it's a patron video. So if you're not a patron, you probably haven't seen it. But this is the thing. It's a Newbery Award winner. I generally avoid them because I was traumatized by them as a child.
Bridget Terabithia, man, like, not over it.
So, that's probably why I didn't pick it up, but I'm really glad I was made to read it because it was great.
Yeah.
It's on my favorite shelf for the year. I'm like,
yes. There's some like really wonderful middle grade that's been coming out the last few years. I mean, even before that, obviously, but
yeah.
Yeah, so good.
It is good. It's so fun. I love it. All right. Well, see, it's like 4:40. I don't know. Do we want to do like one more short sprint, maybe? Before we finish?
That sounds good.
The Newbery does love to reward trauma.
They really do. They really do.
They do.
Which is why I think it's weird that one of the reasons people give for like, oh, middle grade doesn't do it for me, I'm too cool for it, is like that it's too fluffy. And I'm like, friend, like, have you read?
Like, yeah. Well, also too, there was a book that also is very good, but my kids, I got less than halfway through it last month reading it at night, and they were like, Mom, this is too sad and scary. We don't want to read it before bed anymore. And it was middle grade. It was Front Desk by Kelly Yang, which is, the cover makes it look like it's a lighthearted, cute book. It is not. I mean, it's very good, but it is not light at all. It's like pretty heavy.
Yeah. What's it about?
So it's about a girl, her family are Chinese immigrants to America, and like very poor and being taken advantage of by their employer running a hotel. And so it deals with a lot of like racism and issues with immigration and poverty and like police violence, and like it's a lot. Like it's really intense. It's good, and we had good conversations, but I was like, yeah, that's fair. Maybe we'll switch to something a little lighter right before bed. So, yeah. And I just finished it on my own.
I haven't read it yet, but like I've heard that from a couple people. I feel like more when it was first coming out, people were talking about like it's really good, but it's also very heavy. Like, and I feel like now people don't mention that as much. So this is a good reminder, like, okay, not like a just chill and have a good time kind of book.
No, it has like moments, but no, it's not. I think it would be a great classroom book though, because it's a great, and it's a good jumping off point for big conversations, but
yes.
It's like, there's a scene, we didn't even get to this with my kids, which I'm like, it's probably for the best I read this on my own for now. Maybe we'll revisit it later. But like there's a scene where she finds her mom after her mom had been like beaten up really badly by people who were trying to rob the motel. There's just a lot of intense scenes, and the author's note at the end, like a lot of it is based on her real life experiences. It's set in the 90s when she was a kid growing up. So like so like that is, she said that actually happened to her mom. And so like it's good, it's important, but it's not light.
Yeah, know what you're getting.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
We have been doing shorts. Well, yeah, compared to Brie, I'm doing short sprints. I'm a librarian, and I always tell the children's librarians I don't read a lot of kids' books because they're so often sad or feature children in peril. I mean, yeah, this is why I try to find like some lighter things. So instead, now we're reading, which so far has, I mean, it also has some sad stuff, but has been a little more fun. It's let's see.
Yeah,
Cameron
sure,
Battle
fine.
and the Hidden Kingdoms.
Someone just stole my French fries.
Oh man.
He just came in here and grabbed them. I was like, bye. Okay.
Oh, great. Oh, you have it on your TBR. I mean, it's a really good book. Just be prepared, you know? Kids' books. Can one book have good parents that don't die?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
I'm not gonna lie, most of the middle grade that I like is like darker and like focuses on things like Res Dog by
Oh yeah.
Joseph Marshall III, I think.
Bruchac, I think is.
Yeah, Bruchac, my bad. And it's told in verse, but like Malian, the girl, she learns about stuff that at like really early, like, and I was like, this is a really, like, she learns about like miscarriage and like fertility like things, and I'm like, that's a really early age. And then I went back and I was thinking to myself, I was like, when was the first time I learned about stuff like that? And I was like, oh well, I learned about that stuff before Malian did, so it was like, I like this.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, kids do learn about stuff pretty early, and sometimes need places to process it. So yeah, it's, okay, you know what? The one that I read recently that was really cute that does have a good parent, but the parent is a robot to a bird, is The Wild Robot. The robot adopts a gosling, a baby gosling, and it's so cute.
That sounds adorable.
It's adorable. It's really good.
Adorable.
Yeah.
One that has like a really, really good kind of like guardian or like adoptive parent. Like, so what is the first one? The War That Saved My Life, which I know is like very hyped and people talk about it a lot, by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. The kid's birth mom is horrible, but the woman they end up going to stay with, who was not intending to foster these kids but ends up, she is one of my favorite fictional parents I've ever read. Like, she is amazing. I adore her. Her name is Susan. I love her. So that one is kind of like, yeah, kind of a version of that.
Actually, The Girl That Drank the Moon, like, traumatic things happen because the baby originally gets taken away from the mom and she gets thrown into gets locked up for going crazy, sort of, or whatever, because the baby was taken. However, Luna has a great relationship with her sort of adoptive grandmother, and, spoilers, reconnects with her mom at the end of the book.
Aww.
And it's very sweet.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm trying to see if I've read any recently that have strong parent relationships.
Yeah, I should look. I've been reading a little because I didn't used to read much middle grade, but because I've been reading more of it to my kids at night, I've been getting to more.
Actually, Healer of the Water Monster, which is
that's our book club book this month. Yay!
That one, I really love the main character's relationship with his grandmother. And even though he doesn't spend most of the book with his parents, I feel like it's a really nuanced relationship. So yeah.
But it's definitely one that's very common for Native kids to spend a lot of time with their grandparents or their aunties and uncles and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just thought this was hilarious. I literally ran a half marathon to bring one of Bree's.
I definitely recommend Ancestors Approved, though.
That one's so good. Yes. Yeah.
I'm really excited for Christine Day's new book to come out.
Mm.
Right. I'm hoping to read The Sea in Winter this month.
And then I got an Arc of Harvest House.
Oh, I'm really excited for that one.
Well, because it's about Louis. His name Lewis Huey. My bad. It's about the brother from Heartbeat or Hearts Unbroken.
Oh, I didn't realize it was connected.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the brother, and then Rain is not my Indian name. She's actually cousins with these ones.
Oh, cool.
Because it mentions her at one of the games taking
Okay.
pictures in Hearts Unbroken.
Yes. Okay, is this on my... Yes, okay. I was just checking. I was like, did I add that to my want to read on Goodreads? I did. Okay.
Yeah.
I do like middle grade horror. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Don't love the discourse from privileged, sheltered adults criticizing middle grade written by marginalized authors for writing unrealistically dark stories just because that wasn't their childhood. Yes. Yes. Agreed. Yeah. Because I think that's that.
I don't get that is just something I just
Yeah.
Or the like protect the children. They don't, because the thing is like there are children who go through horrific things and they should feel
Yes.
represented on page, you know?
Yeah, like no, kids shouldn't be having that
way
happening.
too fast.
Yeah. It's like kids should not be experiencing that, but they are, and
Yeah.
so you can't say like it's inappropriate to show that reality. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing it in an age appropriate way. And I also think it's valuable for kids who are sheltered to realize that not everybody has the experience they have too, you know?
Yes. Yes. Windows and mirrors.
Yep. 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 All right. I could do like a 15-minute sprint before we end if people want. I just want to, I gotta get off before my kids get home, but
Yeah. 15 minutes sounds good to me.
Yeah, same.
okay, let's do that and then we'll wrap this up. All right, maybe I'll see if I can finish my book. That would be good. That'd be great. It is a novella, but like, I think maybe. All right, see you in 15.
That one startled me.
I also got startled.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, I quit.
I finished my novella. Yay. One down. That's good. How'd everybody do? And we'll wrap this up.
I got another chapter read.
Nice. Love it.
I got April outlined for this person.
Nice. Love it. Looks good.
Because they don't use they're not like a regular planner. They don't use like a bunch of stuff. They like to like sticker bomb things. So I'm like, I'm just gonna lay it basic out for you, and then you can sticker bomb to your heart's content.
Works.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh no, your book was just good. Well, you can keep reading when we get off here.
Yes.
Enjoy. I don't have a cat. What was that? It's okay, Jessica. No worries. Finished Emerald Green. Love it. Oh. See, this was smart. Turn the volume down so it wouldn't startle you. Done working. Got to read a paragraph. Yeah. Love it. Progress. It's progress. Cool. Well, this was fun. It went longer than I originally planned, but it's good. Slept while my phone was on the screen. A couple people fall asleep, it looks like. That's funny. Well, it is about over now. So, yeah, thanks everybody for joining me. And, I don't know. Read only 4 pages. Oh, gosh. That's rough. I don't know if I'll do Ulysses.
I don't think I will.
No.
Like,
3 pages into the back. Cool. Well, cool. Thanks, everybody. And again, if you are looking for more reading sprints, there will be a whole bunch throughout the month. The schedule is on the community, my community tab, and also on my Instagram if you're looking for more places to go. I have one other one scheduled towards the end of the month, and then our live show is going to be April 1st. So join us for that. And I hope you all have a wonderful end to your week. See you later. Bye.
bye.